So the thing I love most about indie games is the fact that they don't really care about things like, shareholders or key metrics or analytics or how long are people spending in my game or anything like that. Typically what they care about is the game fun? Honestly, they just put together a game. Hey, would I play this? Would my friends play this? And most of the time, those ones do typically perform very well because there is a lot of passion behind the game. And when there's passion behind the game, it has an identity, it has a soul, and it's something you want to spend time in. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about Dwarven Realms. Dwarven Realms is a game that has me hooked. A lot of people in my Discord were playing it. They kind of jumped in right when it came out, and they've been having a blast. I'm a little bit later to the party. I had a few other things going on, but now that I'm in and I'm playing, I can see what all the hype is about, because even though it's an indie game, even though visually it's not super appealing, it is very rough around the edges. It is very much looking like an asset, heavy asset use type of game, but still it doesn't matter because the fun is there. It's just like Chronicon. Pixel art isn't for everybody, but the gameplay and the power fantasy being just completely uncapped is what players like me want. Now, before we get into that, I did want to give a shout out to today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by an upcoming roguelite, Linked Banner of the Spark. In Linked, players will fight their way through combots, which are lethal machines intent on destroying the natural world. You'll play through co-op missions with non-stop hack and slash combat and roguelike progression with up to 2 other players. Players can take on tough missions, trade resources, or relax while building, fishing, and doing town activities together. You'll also be able to upgrade your character and customize your build using custom skill trees and mods that you can add to your weaponry, all while expanding your town to unlock and upgrade weapons and abilities between runs. But fret not, you will not be alone as you recruit new robotic allies and build a resistance strong enough to reclaim the future. Try the demo for Linked Banner of Spark on Steam and make sure to wishlist today. Now that we're back, let's talk about Dwarven Realms a little bit. Now, I'm roughly about 10 hours into the game, so please, keep that in mind. This is a first impressions. This is not a complete and thorough 200-hour review like some other folks have up on YouTube. So if you want one of those, please go check that out. But for this, I'm going to talk to you from the point of view of an action RPG player, as well as somebody who is a big loot player. So Dwarven Realms, when it first starts you out, it is, like I said, very rough around the edges. You create your character, and then from there, you are kind of thrust into the world. You're immediately going through the tutorial where it introduces you to all of the game mechanics. Now, the mechanics of the game are pretty simple and straightforward. What you want to do is enter a rupture, which is essentially a map. And then from there, you want to continue to kill all of the hordes of enemies over and over and over again until you build up enough essence to unlock different things on the map. These things could be armor containers, they could be weapons, they could be crates, chests, etc. You have all of these different things you can interact with, and you need to kill enemies to get essence to do so. As you're killing enemies, you're also going to see these big purple beams appear on the map. Going and interacting with them, which is simply running across them, will summon a large group of enemies as well as an elite. When you kill the elite, you have a higher chance at them dropping a chest for you to then go loot. So the whole point here is you want to continue kind of farming this non-stop infinite respawn thing of enemies to not only build essence, but also level up your character, which will allow you to spend skill points on different attributes. And then from there, you can create the build that you want. Do you want to focus more on damage, glass cannon style? Do you want to be more of a tanky type of character? You can spend your points however you'd like to spend them. You will also level up your weapons. So there's different weapon types, things like mauls, staves, magic, bows, two-handers, one-handers. And as you use these different weapon types, you're going to unlock new abilities to use with them. You're going to have a primary ability and a secondary ability. Your primary ability is typically one that you can not necessarily spam, but it is a lower cost skill that will deal a decent amount of damage. Your secondary ability is going to cost more resource, but you're going to deal out a bigger chunk of damage. There are multiple of these for you to choose from as well, so you can pick the skills that work best for you. For me, I'm running a spear build right now, where I really like this wind dome ability that'll deal AoE damage, and I like this kind of hail of arrows type of thing with spears. So a bunch of spears will fall down from the sky, and it'll deal considerable damage to anything within that area. Now, outside of your leveling up your character and you're leveling up your actual weapons, you're going to get a ton of loot. And this loot covers everything. You have helmets, pants, gloves, boots, chest pieces. Then you have trinkets, which are goblets, amulets, offhands, horns, all of these different things. And all of your offhands are going to give you passive abilities that are going to activate on a certain interval. So for instance, let's say, every 5 seconds you have an AoE of these like purple arcane tentacles coming out of the ground and dealing damage. You can combo that with fire beams that'll spin up and start shooting fire out. So this is where all of your kind of passive damage comes from and your ad clear comes from. It's a very, very cool system. It's very passive, which is nice. And as you go and you collect all of this loot, you can then take it back to your home base and you can upgrade it using materials that you find out on those maps as well. So as you're going through and you're killing things, you're also collecting resources, take those back to your home base, and then you can alter or upgrade all of the different affixes on your items. Each item will have something called a crafting spec. That is the amount of times that you can upgrade or alter that particular item. So if you get an item that you like one stat, you don't like the other 4, then you can go through and alter all of them to get hopefully something that you're after. Or if you get a perfect item and you really want to upgrade everything, you can do so for as many specs as you have. So this whole system, this whole kind of process and gameplay loop they've put together is incredibly addicting, and it's incredibly easy to understand. It's very simple, it's very to the point, there's not a lot of fluff, and it just thrusts you into the game and says, go have fun. That's why I'm enjoying it so much, is because there isn't a huge kind of ramp up system to get into the game. Instead, log in, just start killing hordes of enemies, find some shiny loot, throw it on, make your build better, see how far you can push. There are leaderboards, so you can see here how high up these people are. Like this person is 643. They're on Rupture 220. To give you some context, I'm on Rupture like 10 or 11. And then you can rise up the leaderboards if that's your thing. As you're looking at these leaderboards, you can also see the builds that they're using. So you can see what weapon, what different trinkets they're using, and all of these type of things. So that way, let's say you're stuck, you're kind of banging your head against the wall. Look at what other people are using and figure out, can I change my build, or should I change my build in order to push through where I'm at right now? So that's something I think you could keep in mind. Now, like I said, Dwarven Realms is $10, so it isn't a huge investment. It's a very positive rating on Steam with 1,700 reviews. I'm having a great time with it, but I want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. What do you think about Dwarven Realms? Have you played it, and is this something that you feel like you would spend some time in? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you guys next time.